Today we're going to take a look at the second part of verse 19. But first, let's read verses 18 and 19 again. But the Lord watches over those who fear him, those who rely on his unfailing love. He rescues them from death and keeps them alive in times of famine. Psalm 33 says that God keeps his people alive in times of famine. That phrase, keeps them alive, comes from one Hebrew word, chaya, which translates into meaning to sustain, preserve, and keep alive. Now remember, these words follow the first part of verse 19. He rescues them from death. So the last part of verse 19 is proclaiming that God continues to sustain, preserve, and keep his people who his mighty hand has rescued from death. And notice those last words, in times of famine. Now, we tend to think of famine in terms of a physical hunger. However, the reference here in verse 19 is actually to a spiritual hunger. So what verse 19 is promising us is that God rescues us from a spiritual death and then keeps us alive by sustaining and preserving us through his Holy Spirit. Be sure to take another minute for God in our next message as we see more of God's promises proclaimed in Psalm 33.